for Thursday. Well, we're into part 4 of week 8, so we have another 9 games for you. So that'll draw us closer and closer to the goal of getting all 53 in. We've got we started with 8 in part 1, 9 part 2, 9 part 3, 9 part 4. You do the math. So we've got a lot of picks up there now. We've got 35 picks we'll have up there on our channel from me here on from week 8 college football. Before we get started, just a couple of things. Be sure subscribe to our YouTube channel. Free college football picks are updated all season long. Free picks every day from all the major sports. We also have NFL, NBA, college basketball, European football, and a lot more. It is a good time to subscribe. And also, if you would support our channel, the thumbs up, like, we greatly appreciate it. Then visit Tony'sPicks.com. We're a multi-capper site showcasing top cappers in our industry. Click the links to the hot cappers. Get signed up to our long-term passes. You'll see the hot cappers on our site here. Guys like Hollywood Sam, who's been on fire. Tiffany's been hot. Ramon as well. Mindy. Click the link and get signed up to some of our long-term passes. You'll find our latest premium picks here on the center of the page. Of course, our best bets are filled up with each capper, where they can release one best bet per sport per day. Many of them are up there right now. Many cappers handicap many sports. So you'll see a lot of best bets here on our site here, like Tiffany, who's been on absolute fire right now. The VIP GM's up there, Mindy with them as well. Click here the $15 premium pick. Each capper can designate one of their premium plays as a $15 pick to showcase their service out there, and you'll see many do, and many have a best bet. They want to showcase their best stuff out there, so the best bets are out there. 3 packs, a lot of demand for those, so check those out right now. A lot of 3 packs from our top cappers right now up on the site. And of course, I want to let you know about some things here. Our promo code, you can save 20% off all premium pick packages. When you use that promo code TonyT at checkout, you can access our page by clicking the link in the description and then the All Cappers tab and get signed up. Also, love to hear from you guys, so post your picks in the comments below. We are looking for cappers. You can apply over at Tony'sPicks.com down in the footer section. And all of our picks are in podcast form at Tony's Picks Podcast, on all major platforms. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get this one started. Troy versus South Alabama. College football pick. This one goes off on Thursday. Troy sits at 5-2 after their 17-14 home win at Texas State. Trojans move the football for 406 yards with just over 3 yards of carry on the ground. Defense limited the Bobcats at 293 yards with 207 passing on 32 attempts. Gunnar Watson, 54% completions with 11 yards per attempt. For the season, Watson a 63% completion rate, 6 touchdowns, but 7 picks, and a career high 8.8 yards per pass attempt. Now, South Alabama, they're 5-1 after that 41-34 home win to UL Monroe. A season high 615 yards for the Jaguars. They ran for 195 yards on 41 carries. USA shut down the Warhawks' ground attack, but didn't give up 371 yards passing on 27 attempts. Carter Bradley at Toledo transfers season highs this season here here with season high 76% completions, 420 yards, 12.7 yards per attempt. On the year, Bradley about 64% completions, 8.5 yards per attempt. You know, home away splits really favors the home team Jaguars here. On the road, Trojans allowing 453 yards with 289 passing, 7.2 yards per attempt. Bradley in the better form at quarterback. The play here will be South Alabama here at -3. Virginia versus Virginia Tech college football pick. This one is on Thursday. Virginia fell to 2-4 with their 34-17 home defeat to Louisville, held to under 20 points in 4 of 5. The Cavs gained 319 yards with 6 rushing on 25 carries. Defensively, UVA surrendered 473 yards. The Cardinals with 275 passing on 30 attempts. Brennan Armstrong season highs with 70% completions, 313 yards, 9.2 yards per attempt. He had a touchdown with 2 picks on the season career lows here, 55% completion rate, 6.5 yards per attempt. Now, Georgia Tech 3-3 with their 23-20 home overtime win to Duke. The Yellow Jackets gained 412 yards offensively in that game, 180 on the ground on 37 carries. It was the defense. They defended the pass here, holding the Blue Devils to 136 yards on 42 attempts here in that one. For that, Jeff Sims, a season high 67% completions, 2 touchdowns, 6.7 yards per attempt. Sims injured, may not start, so backup Zach Gibson, a transfer from Akron in 2021, completed 69% of his passes, 10 touchdowns, no picks, 8 yards per attempt in 7 games. Yellow Jackets have the better offense, showing over the past 3 games, moving the football and performing better defense in this period. Play here will be Georgia Tech here at -3. Northwestern and Maryland college football pick. This one goes off Saturday. Northwestern 1-5 after their 42-7 home defeat to Wisconsin. Wildcats gained 342 yards in this one, but rushed for only 79 yards on 27 carries. Defensively, the Wildcats did give up 515 yards, 5 yards per carry on the ground, 322 passing on 30 attempts. Ryan Helinski, he's in concussion protocol. He left the game. Brendan Sullivan in relief, 65% completion rate, touchdown, and 6.7 yards per attempt. That's been the sophomore's only action in his career. Now, Maryland, they're 5-2 after their 38-33 road win at Indiana. Terrapins posted 442 yards, and they ran it for 172 on 40 carries. They stuffed the Hoosiers on the ground on defense, but allowed 315 passing yards on 43 attempts. Talia Tagovailoa will be a game-time decision with that knee injury. He did complete 64% in the win, 2 touchdowns, and 6.9 yards per attempt. On the season, 72% completion rate, 8.5 yards per attempt. The Wildcats have been held to 7 points in each of their past 2 games, and on the road, they're averaging just 241 yards. Terrapins running for 5 yards per game and throwing for 300 yards a game. The play here will be Maryland -14. North Texas versus UTSA college football pick. This one goes off on Saturday. North Texas improved to 4-3 after their 47-27 home win to Louisiana Tech. Mean Green, a season high 671 yards of offense. Oh my goodness, they ran the ball like crazy here. 475 rushing yards on 47 attempts. They limited the Bulldogs on the ground, but surrendered 424 yards passing on only 37 attempts. Austin Ani, 55% completion rate in the win, 9.8 yards per attempt. Ani on the year, 56% completions, 8.6 yards per attempt. Now UTSA, they're 5-2 after their 30-10 road win at FIU. Roadrunners gained 433 yards with just over 3 yards of carry on the ground. They limited FIU to only 323 yards in the game. Now Frank Harris, 69% completion rate in the game, 303 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 8.7 yards per attempt. Looking at on the numbers, the season-wide numbers here for Harris, 69% completion rate, 8.8 yards per attempt. Harris, the more accurate passer, and the Mean Green's giving up 5.3 yards per rush on the road. North Texas recent road games allowed 44 at Memphis, 58 at UNLV. The play here, UTSA at -10. BYU versus Liberty college football pick. This one is on Saturday. BYU fell to 4-3 after their 52-25 home defeat to Arkansas. Cougars gained 471 yards on loss. They ran for under 4 yards a carry. And defense really was torched. BYU allowed 644 yards, over 7 yards a carry, 367 passing on 40 attempts. It was just an SEC team just looking a lot bigger and stronger there on the field. Jaron Hall, 63% completion rate in the loss, 3 touchdowns a pick, 8.7 yards per attempt. This season, Hall, 68% completion rate, 8.4 yards per attempt. Liberty, 6-1 after their 21-20 home win to FCS Gardner-Webb. Poor offensive output here, 315 yards, 93 rushing on 29 carries, and that was against an FCS team. Defensively, the Flames held Gardner-Webb on the ground and allowed 239 yards passing on 44 attempts. Jonathan Bennett here, 57% completion rate, a touchdown, 2 picks, 7.4 yards per attempt. Now, season-wide, Bennett just 50% completion rate, 6.6 yards per attempt. The pass for opponents for Liberty were Gardner-Webb, UMass, Old Dominion, and Akron. Not a very tough schedule. The past 3 games against weak opponents, the Flames averaging only 338 yards, 4.1 yards per rush, and even more worrisome here is 50% completion rate. Hall is just outperforming Bennett by a wide margin. Play here will be BYU -7. FIU versus Charlotte college football pick. This one on Saturday. FIU fell to 2-4 with their 30-10 home defeat to UTSA. Golden Panthers held to 12 points or fewer in 4 of 5. They gained 323 yards with 137 rushing on 36 carries. Down defensively, FIU allowed 303 yards passing on 39 attempts. Grayson Hall, season low, 50% completions with a pick and 4.8 yards per attempt. This season, Hall, 59% completion rate, 5.5 yards per attempt. Charlotte, they're 1-6 after a 34-20 road defeat at UAB. 49ers offense produced only 327 yards, very limited rushing attack. On defense, Charlotte allowed over 5 yards a carry on the ground, 231 passing yards on 23 attempts. Chris Reynolds, 58% completions in the loss, touchdown, 2 picks, 8.2 yards per attempt. The senior on the season, a 63% completion rate, 8.5 yards per attempt. The 49ers are giving up 5.7 yards per carry on the ground, 11 yards per pass attempt. Overall yardage allowed per game by Charlotte, 534 yards. Just can't lay double digits with a defense this bad. Play here, FIU, plus 14.5. Arizona State versus Stanford, college football pick Saturday. Arizona State 2-4 with their 45-38 home win to Washington. Sun Devils moved the football for 397 yards, 156 rushing on 32 carries. On defense, ASU surrendered 324 passing yards on 54 attempts. Florida transfer quarterback Emory Jones, 78% completion rate in the win, only 6.6 yards per attempt before leaving due to a concussion. He attempted 9 passes. Now, Jones was cleared to resume football activities in practice this week. On the year, Jones, 63% completions, 7.4 yards per attempt. Stanford's are 2-4. They come off a 16-14 road win at Notre Dame. Cardinal offense gained 385 yards in the win, 97 of it rushing. Defensively, they limited the Fighting Irish pass attack to just 151 yards on 27 attempts. Tanner McKee, an FBS high 68% completion rate, 288 passing yards, 7.6 yards per attempt. This season, McKee, 64% completions, 8 yards per attempt. ASU defense has struggled on the road, surrendering 475 yards with 308 passing and 8.2 yards per attempt. Prefer McKee over Jones. Play here, Stanford minus 2.5. Vanderbilt versus Missouri, college football pick Saturday. Vanderbilt sits at 3-4 after their 55-0 road defeat at Georgia. Commodores really struggled offensively, just 150 yards for the game, 45 rushing on 23 carries. On defense, they allowed 5 yards per rush, 387 passing on 41 attempts. A.J. Swan, 52% completions, 105 yards, 4.6 yards per attempt. This season, Swan, 61% completions, 7.2 yards per attempt. In Missouri, they dropped to 2-4 after that 24-17 road defeat at Florida. Tigers offense produced 370 yards, running for under 4 yards a carry. They only allowed 66 passing yards on 14 attempts, but the Gators ran for 231 yards on 32 carries. Brady Cook, a season-high 73% completion rate, 7.3 yards per attempt, but 2 picks. This season, Cook carries 65% completions, 7.1 yards per attempt. Tigers defense has kept Missouri in games in their covers against Florida, Georgia, and Auburn. In the play here, Vanderbilt and Missouri under 51. Hawaii versus Colorado State, college football pick Saturday. Hawaii 2-5 after their 31-16 home win to Nevada. Warriors gained 396 yards in the win, 223 rushing on 46 attempts. Sound defensive performance for Hawaii, holding the Wolfpack to 277 yards with 188 passing on 38 attempts. Braden Schrager, just 52% completions, 6.9 yards per attempt. On the season, Schrager, 57% completions, 3 touchdowns, 5 picks, 6.2 yards per attempt. Colorado State is 1-5 after their 17-13 home defeat to Utah State. Another light offensive performance for the Rams as they gained only 262 yards with 99 rushing. Colorado State has been held to under 300 yards in all 6 games this season, with 262 yards gained last week, a season high. Quarterback Clay Millen practiced this week, training to starting on Saturday after missing the past 2 games. Millen on the year is completing 74% of his passes, 7.3 yards per attempt. But Colorado State's run game is just generating 2.3 yards a carry. Rams have scored no greater than 19 points in any one of their games. They play here Hawaii at plus the 5.5. That was our college football pick show. That was week 8, part 4. We'll have the final 2 parts the next couple of days, and we'll get to 53 games here and get all the FBS versus FBS games done. All right, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. Visit Tony's Picks for our best bets and check out our podcast at Tony's Picks if you like every pick in podcast form that way. I'm Tony T, back later today with more picks, and of course morning steam at 9 a.m. Eastern time with a lot more picks then and some hot